トコ、ありがとう。
Welcome to the August Tale. I'm August, and here on the channel I review anime visual novels, but for this series we're going to cover the second season of Higurashi Sotsu. These series of videos will be an episodic review and will serve as a visual novel / original story comparison, as well as a theory crafting series to solve this new mystery of Higurashi. Spoilers for episode 7 of Higurashi Sotsu, and with that said, let's begin. And so we begin the Tatari Akashi Answer Arc, and to no one's surprise, Satoko's having too much fun again. It appears my theory from the previous episode was true, albeit a lot more dramatic than I initially thought. To recap, Satoko will continue to follow Rika into the next fragment if Satoko dies after Rika does. However, if Satoko dies before Rika does, Rika may not exist in the next fragment. Those are the conditions set by Eiwa. In the last video, I theorized that if Satoko died before Rika, Satoko would have to start all over again with a new version of Rika that lost all of her accumulated memories, and run the risk of looping for all eternity. But Rika disappearing forever is something I didn't even consider. At that point, it's game over for Satoko. Eiwa's intentions are also reiterated to be very explicit too. Eiwa's sole goal is to be entertained by Satoko and Rika's actions. Some might think she's enjoying watching Satoko manipulate everyone behind the scenes to kill each other, but we also get a snippet of her enjoying the slice of life peaceful moments between the whole cast. Everything seems to be fair. It doesn't matter how, Satoko and Rika just have to provide a nice show for her. So I'm wondering, did Eiwa tell Satoko about those conditions as a helpful warning, or was it deliberate to add a bit more risk to the situation, making things more exciting? Satoko takes notice of this obviously, but she's clearly got this all under control, crafting her devious big master plan, and gaslighting everyone in the process, including one very depressed Rika. Now that we know that Satoko is fooling both the villagers and her friends with the abusive Teppei story and convincing Teppei that she's being bullied by the entire village of Hinamizawa, it drastically changes how we should view the events coming up. That protest riot that was supposed to rally up and demand that Satoko be released has vastly different interpretations based on which perspective you see it from. On one hand, while the villagers are arguing that Teppei is abusing Satoko, on the other hand, Teppei is arguing that the villagers are bullying Satoko. Man, I sure would hate to be the Child Protection Agency right now. For them, this is not a clear-cut decision. And given that Keiichi is the one spearheading this protest, Teppei would ultimately see it as Keiichi being the ringleader behind Satoko's bullying, which can explain why Teppei suddenly attacked Keiichi on the night of the Watsunagashi festival. In fact, the only people who would know of Satoko and Teppei's true circumstances is probably Oishi. There's a high chance Oishi went to go investigate the household, but when hearing Teppei's side, Oishi is more likely to believe him. Why is this? It's because Satoko bases the bullying off of the dam incident years prior. Oishi still holds bitter feelings for the suspicious death of his friend during that incident, and is more likely to hold antagonistic feelings towards the villagers, and especially the Sonozaki family, the leaders behind the protest. This makes Oishi's suspicious behavior in this arc make much more sense. Meanwhile, while all of this is going down, Satoko is grinning in the background and Eiwa is laughing her ass off in her own world. It's nice that Teppei is willing to do all of this for Satoko, transforming from the abusive man he was in the original Higurashi into an earnest uncle who wants to do his best for his niece, despite how unbelievably conflicted people may feel about him. But seeing Teppei's honest efforts be manipulated and having him being played like a fool really does put a sour on all of this, especially when Satoko is red-eye gleaming when no one's looking. At this point, we all know that Satoko has committed atrocity after atrocity, and this is just another one of her antics in pursuit of Rika. But let us re-examine the situation again after listening to that conversation between Satoko and Rika. Rika doesn't understand why she has to go through these tragedies again. She doesn't want to go back, repeating death and watching her friends die. Satoko claims that this is a punishment for wanting to leave Hinamizawa when there's a lot that Hinamizawa has done for them. But to me, Satoko has misplaced intentions. Keeping Rika in Hinamizawa isn't her actual goal. Satoko being together with Rika is. I think that the location should not particularly matter as long as they were together in one place and being happy spending time together. Hinamizawa was just a place where they had the most fun times together, and after returning to the village when the crew got back together, they could go back to their old selves. Even when Keiichi, Mion, and Rena went off to college, Satoko and Rika still had each other. It's just that St. Lucius Academy's rigorous and hostile environment destroyed any time they would spend together. There's nothing wrong with Rika wanting to go outside the village, but her lack of perception of reading Satoko's situation and feelings also ended up becoming a detriment to their relationship. And it seems Rika's a bit too dense to understand what Satoko is indirectly trying to say. We are quickly approaching the present, but for now, let's see what other secrets Tatari Akashi Hen has in store for us. So what do you all think of this episode? And what are your thoughts? I would love to hear them. If you like what I do here, consider subscribing and check out some of my other videos here in the channel. New content every week. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all later.